Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wim Blue. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast after the Raptors win once again. Man, this has been awesome. Raptors win 121 to 112 in Philadelphia. The Raptors are now 9-1 in their last 10 games. The Raptors are now 10-5 on the season. And we welcome all of you to the React Pod. Of course, leave your questions in the chat. Talk amongst yourselves, but I think it's just gonna be another party. I think it's just kind of party after party, really, because, I'm sitting here, I'm watching this game, and yes, there were some stressful moments. There's no doubt. It didn't help that Jack and Matt were telling me every 5 seconds on the broadcast, like, hey, the Sixers, they're great at comebacks. The Sixers making comebacks. The Sixers just came back against the Clippers, and I'm just like, all right, man, like, you're trying to get me to sweat, but realistically, the Raptors are just doing what they're supposed to do. They're taking care of business. Honestly, some of these teams, I look at them and I'm like, that's inferior to the Raptors. And of course, Sixers tonight, no Joel Embiid, no Paul George. You know what I mean? Like, they missed a couple guys, Kelly Oubre. Certainly, obviously, the Sixers beat the Raptors in the last time they came back here. In terms of 9-1 in the last 10, that one is the Sixers. So, the Raptors did need a bit of revenge going back out to Philadelphia once again in a short span of time. And they didn't have their full roster. And of course, we don't really have a good answer for Embiid. Nobody does. Um, again, like, the Raptors are kind of doing what we're supposed to do. Like, some of these teams, I watch some of these teams and I'm like, yeah, like, Raptors are better than the Hornets. Raptors are better than the Sixers. And it's cute because sometimes when you're playing against a team that's worse than you, they do the fake comeback thing. I mean, trust me, I watched a lot of Raptor games. Raptors used to be known for the fake comeback. I mean, especially when you compare just the fake comeback idea, but also you pair it with Nick Nurse, who is always willing to gamble, always willing to shift up the defense, pressure the ball. I mean, again, like, we know Nick like the back of our hands. You know what I mean? Like, we know sort of how he approaches this. And the Raptors have been in this position where Philadelphia is right now, where they're playing against a better team, and they try to make a little comeback, and they get it down, to like 3 points. It's right there. It's been one or two possessions. And then at the very end, the better team just takes their ball, and goes home. They're like, yeah, we're better than you. We'll just go out there and beat you. And that's the comfort I felt when the Raptors got the ball into Brandon Ingram's hands in the post. And, he draws a double team. He kicks it out to Immanuel Quickley. Quickly knocks down a 3. 3-point game becomes a 6-point game. Now the Raptors got to stop, go the other way. All right, another turn. Scotty Barnes is going to be in that same post right there in front of the Raptors bench on the left side. He's going to post up. He's going to draw 2 defenders. He's going to go up. He's going to miss it, but then he's going to get his own rebound because Jakob's also there fighting for the board. And then he's going to go up, and then he's going to go dunk it. Now it's an 8-point game. And now the Sixers go back. They score, but all of a sudden the Raptors, okay, they're not going to the post up anymore. The Sixers are kind of reading it. They sniff one out. Okay, fine. Let's run a different play. Let's see. We have Immanuel Quickley, who, can run a pick and roll with the best of them. And he's going to get the screen from Jakob Poeltl. And look, unfortunately for the Sixers, Drummond, who played pretty well, and he had a lot of disruptive moments, had a nice steal and a dunk going the other way. He's always had good hands. But Drummond can't move. And so when Jakob comes to set the screen, he clips Quickley's defender, and Quickley sees that Drummond's down because Drummond can't cut that high up, knocks down the 3. We're calling 5. We're going, essentially, I'm changing the title of the podcast. Raptors win again. And honestly, when I look back at it, I'm actually a little thankful to the Sixers. Like, that's not even me trolling them. I'm not even trolling. I'm just saying that, like, I actually am thankful to see the Raptors in a competitive environment. I'm thankful to see the Raptors get pushed. I want to see how they respond. I especially want to see how the starters take on the responsibility, because during this season where the Raptors are 10-5 and this run where the Raptors are 9-1 in the last 10, a lot of that has been the benefit of the second unit coming in and changing the game. And, today the Raptors actually got a few strong performances off the bench. Jacoby Walter had his best game of the season. Sandro Mamukelashvili had a stretch there where he was just doing everything. Grady Dick, I thought, was really disruptive in this one. Jamal actually was a little bit off as compared to usual, but Jamal's level is so high that, a bad game for Jamal is still pretty good, especially for a bench guy. But I want to see the starters solve things. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like the starters, they're in the prime. They're literally, all 5 of these guys are in the prime. They're all experienced. They're all on their second or third contracts. And they got to go out there and deliver. And to see the Raptors get more and more comfortable in these crunch time moments. Last game, it was obviously even closer. The Hornets played really well, and the Raptors needed a bunch of huge plays. The precise timing of the Ingram double team, throw the pass to RJ Barrett, RJ cutting in for the layup to go ahead. And then the double block first by Ingram, then by Scotty at the end of the game. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, that game was so good that game stuck in my mind for 3 straight days. Like, I was still eager to watch Ingram's dunk on Ryan Kalkbrenner like 2 days later. It's been a while since a Raptor game been in my mind for 3 straight days. But this one, you get pushed again, and again, I think these are just like really valuable reps for the Raptors, who are obviously really building confidence, really building momentum. And when you get in these scenarios and you're put under pressure, because the Sixers, even though the Sixers actually did well to hold a lead at halftime, I think they're up 3 at half, which, the Raptors should have been, better in the first half, but the Sixers played really well. Maxey, again, just tearing the Raptors up nonstop. And, Jared McCain finally got his first baskets, and VJ Edgecombe, and, Grimes, like basically just a perimeter assault from their 4 guards who played. And so they had a 3-point lead at half. But then the Raptors, with their second most prolific quarter of the entire season, they scored 44 points in the third quarter. The only one that they actually scored more in was on the season opener when the Raptors went down to Atlanta. And Atlanta, the Raptors hung 45 points on them, I think also in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this one, the Raptors go in, score 44 points in the third quarter, outscored the Sixers by 19 in that third, and all of a sudden a 3-point deficit at half becomes a 16-point lead going to the fourth quarter. But then, of course, and again, credit to the broadcast, they pointed it out. The Sixers are a really good comeback team. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. And they started coming back. And honestly, that's where I was a little disappointed. Some of the sloppiness in that stretch. Darko actually called a quick timeout to start the fourth quarter just to make sure the Raptors can get back in the rhythm. But then as soon as that first play out of the timeout, they throw the ball away again. The Sixers score. Basically, there's an 11-0 run there to effectively neutralize the Raptors' advantage. And now all of a sudden, you're in a dogfight with the scrappy Sixers team in front of a Sixers crowd that obviously can really be on top of you. Trust me, you got to be in Philadelphia to really understand that, man. I mean, I was there for Sixers Raptors in 2019. And let me tell you, the atmosphere in that building when it was in Game 3, when Embiid did the airplane, when the Raptors were down 25, the atmosphere in that building in Game 4, when everything was going against the Raptors and somehow Kawhi Leonard knocked down a whole bunch of threes to just narrowly eke out the game. The pressure in that building in Game 6 when the Raptors got blown out by like 25 again. That building is scary, okay? And so, obviously, this is November. This is not, second round of the playoffs, which is where the Sixers always fall out. But, like, it can really get to you. But, again, like, I credit the Raptors for bending but not breaking, making a couple more plays. The Sixers also, again, we know Nick Nurse like the back of our hands. He's going to go to some shifty zone defenses and, kind of look like a 2-1-2 zone at some points. And it really made it difficult for the Raptors to run their offense. The Raptors had to really think about how they wanted to play. And they did a great job of solving it, like a couple nice plays to just settle them down. Small things like Jamal finding a little gap in the middle of the floor, throwing a nice little bounce pass into the middle to Scotty Barnes to sort of knock down a short jumper. The calm of Jakob Poeltl, where you can throw the ball to Jakob in the post and he can distribute from there. Obviously, Brandon and RJ connecting with each other again at the end of the game for a dunk. They connected earlier in the game for another dunk as well, so one dunk each in the first half and the second half. The reliability of being able to play through the post. I mean, again, like sometimes you're not always going to do that, but one of the benefits of the Raptors starting lineup is like they're pretty big, right? In the starting 5. Okay, IQ, RJ, but then you also have Scotty and Brandon. And those are typically the 2 guys you're going to play through in addition to Quickley in crunch time. And one of the nice things, especially offensively, is, okay, maybe, the other team has gotten really good at disrupting your dribble and really being able to sort of like stop your perimeter attack. Well, one way you can change the geometry of the game is by going into the post. But of course, you need skilled post scorers and post operators who understand how to score and also understand how to pass in those scenarios to be able to play through. And, the Sixers, as it happens, they played a lot of guards today in the rotation. Those were the guys who were playing well. So Maxey, Grimes, Edgecombe, and McCain wasn't on the floor to close, but they still had 3 guards on the floor to end the game. Well, guess what? 3 guards. There's only 2 places you can hide on IQ and RJ, you're going to need one of those guards to have to guard against these 6'8" forwards that the Raptors have. And that's why I liked it. The first play when BI got it in the post, drew the double team because he had, I think, Maxey on him. Double team came, he swung it out, IQ got the three. And the next time, when Scotty got in the post, I think Scotty had Maxey. Ingram had, I think, Edgecombe on him. But still, Edgecombe, even him, like he's like got long arms, but he's still 6'3". Do you know what I mean? Like, so that ability to sort of calm it down, play through those guys was huge. You think back to the last game when the Raptors, again, on that game, go ahead play at the end. I would say it's a game-winning play, but realistically, the 2 blocks were the game-winning plays. But the go-ahead play, as soon as, the Raptors came back down in transition, tied 108 against the Hornets, Ingram realizes, I got Colin Sexton on me. Immanuel Quickley realizes, yep, you got a mismatch. I'm going to keep the ball on your side of the floor. I'm going to get it to you in the post. And they played out of that. And eventually you draw the double team and you play out of that. And the thing is, like, as much as it's really cool and it's very fun to watch, skilled players be able to sort of score despite the attention. The Kawhi shot against the Sixers, since we're talking about Rap Sixers, that's amazing. It doesn't get better than that. You know what I mean? Kawhi running to the corner, dribbling, and then shooting a fadeaway over both Embiid and Ben Simmons. Like, that's great. But ideally, if you can if you can draw double teams consistently in crunch time, that is what really, really fuels your crunch time offense, because that's what we saw a lot of tonight. And of course, granted, like the Sixers were playing from behind, so they got to be a little bit more aggressive. And it's Nick Nurse, so he's going to double the ball no matter what. But again, like that was really, really fun to watch. And yes, the Raptors had frustrating moments in this one, being a little bit sloppy, losing the physicality battle. Like they didn't play a perfect game. Like Darko says, there's no perfect games. You know what I mean? But I do like when they get pushed and when they get tested, because I think in the long run, they're going to develop this identity. I think already, one of the things with a 9-1 stretch, you're never going to complain about 9-1 stretch, but you look at it, you're like, okay, Raptors have had a lot of like double-digit blowout wins. Like, okay, Pacers, yeah, you're going to blow out the Pacers. The Nets, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, the Nets suck so much. Like, you know what I mean? Who else they played? Memphis. Like, they blew up Memphis. Like, Cleveland. Yeah, you're going to blow them out too. So it's like you haven't had to execute as much in crunch time. And that's what the last 2 games have really been fun. And they have this rhythm. They obviously understand that Brandon's the guy to go to most times, but they also have other options. And I did like Quickley kind of like improvising a little bit. And this is the thing. Like, I know at the start of the season, Quickley was off to a slow start. And he just looked kind of out of it. His body language was low. Defensively, he wasn't competing. Like, we highlight that on the show, too, because we call it like we see it. But basically, since that, like, early, like, the first 5 games, Quickley has been on an absolute tear. And you see the impact that he has on this team. Yes, the outside shooting is important. Today, he hits the 2 threes in the fourth quarter towards the end, which, totally created the separation to get the win. But it's also his ability to create attacking closeouts, his ability to drive and make a play on guys. He's been a lot stronger with his drives, and Quickley's never going to be a guy that's going to go downhill and dunk on a guy or go all the way to the rim and really put it on the glass. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not that type of guy. But when I mean stronger, I mean like he's not necessarily only shooting the runners off balance and sort of fading away from contact, but even some of the turnaround jumpers where he's more on balance. Like, I just thought he played a really good game. And having those different sort of like angles to play make from, like you saw tonight, like if you're the Sixers and you're Nick and you're trying to coach and game plan against how to stop the Raptors, well, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, right? Okay, Brandon Ingram, that's already a problem. And Ingram, again, another strong performance tonight, ultra efficient, 22 points on 7 of 10 shooting, including 2 of 2 from 3, and 6 of 7 from the foul line. Like, just hyper efficient from Brandon Ingram. Of course, you got to consider what Scotty Barnes can do. Post up, be in transition, score one-on-one. Nick basically said, okay, I'll double Ingram, but then I have to play Scotty more one-on-one. Then it's like, okay, fine. You maybe want to pressure the ball a little bit. But then the Raptors throw it inside of Jakob. And Jakob was awesome again in this one. In terms of the turnaround for the Raptors, yes, the turnaround started before, Jakob got healthy. But once Jakob's gotten healthy, the Cavs game, the Hornets game, the Pacers game, this game, that's 4 straight wins where Jakob's been awesome in all of these games. And of course, this one, yes, he's playing against Drummond versus playing against Embiid. I don't think he'll have the same game against Embiid. But I don't know, man. Jakob was so great, not only in terms of his offensive rebounding, his finishing around the basket, even him running out in transition. His back feeling better when he's breaking away in transition and running ahead of the pack. his two-man game with Scotty Barnes. I mean, the two of them, I mean, they deserve a little compilation video for how much they've been able to find each other. This is like prime Xavi and Iniesta type. I mean, in a double pivot. So it's beautiful to see that sort of passing between the two of those guys. But you also have Jakob being like, okay, fine, you want to pressure the ball, you want to really get into it, throw the ball to the big man at the top, and now we're gonna play make out of there. Which that's what a lot of that third quarter was Jakob being able to feed guys and getting Quickley off the ball. And I think for Quickley, there's been such a big pressure to like, okay, get 10 threes up, get 10 threes up, get 10 threes up. And I think for me, it's just like, you know what? Some of these bad threes where it's like quick transition pull and like he's like leaning into it. Certainly you can make them. There's no doubt. But like sometimes when you're just jacking to sort of jack, like it really does like change the momentum of the game. Sometimes it's a long rebound. You can't really guard going the other way because you don't have floor balance. Like all your momentum's taking you into the front court and now you got to go back. Like I thought tonight Quickley took 9 excellent threes. And this is like a game where his offense was massive, not only in crunch time, but even in moments like, they threw it to Jakob in the third quarter and then quickly ran into the corner, relocated, and then Jakob found him in the corner. Like a lot of things like that to really help him get going. And I think a lot of that is really good coaching because what we've seen is, okay, Quickley had a slow start. Now as the coach, you roll your sleeves up. Like, how do we get Quickley better looks? Well, one way is, yes, we get him off the ball a little bit. But also we pair him with better passers, right? Okay, Jamal Shed, who's like, again, the stat is that Jamal Shed is second in the NBA in terms of assists per 36 minutes behind Nikola Jokic of all people. Let's put him on the floor with Quickley. That allows Quickley to be more off the ball, be able to score a little bit easier. It's a lot easier to get open off the ball than it is on the ball. The ball is always attracting attention. So there's small things like that. And then I think once he's established a three-point shot, that's where Quickley can attack these closeouts, and he's always been really good at those. And yeah, I just like his scoring. And then, of course, we didn't even mention RJ, who is kind of a guy who just picks up the scraps, around the margins. He missed a couple of shots today, but still ends up finishing with 22 points, which is a share for the game high. Goes 6 of 12 from the field. Somehow, I think with RJ, people remember the misses a lot more because I still see a lot of complaining about RJ. But I also thought, okay, in those transition lineups where, okay, you don't have your starters in, but you still need to sort of have scores in. I thought RJ feasted. I mean, especially getting guarded by a sophomore like Jared McCain. How many fouls did RJ draw on Jared McCain just driving to the basket and overpowering that kid? I mean, that's a kid. That's a kid versus a man. Like, it's different. RJ going to the free throw line. Big credit to RJ. It's a close game at the end of this game. When you really looked at it, it was like a 3-point game. That's how close they got. RJ goes 8 for 9 from the foul line. That's huge because we know what RJ can, sometimes get streaky from the foul line. But I thought RJ was a little overhated in this one. Yes, he missed a couple of like shots where guys were setting him up and he couldn't convert. But again, he finishes 22 points and was hyper efficient when you really consider like the fact that he had 22 on 12 shots, right? So, and it's just him sort of picking up the scraps. And then of course, yes, that's the starting 5. They all played great. I thought the second unit again came in and made their mark on the game. If over the course of this podcast, open gym or the Raptors release whoever got the chain, my money's on Jakobi Walter to get the chain because I think, look, Jakobi's had a tough start to the season. Jakobi has not really contributed much to the season. Sometimes he gets completely out the rotation, but most times he's like the 10th man. At best, he's been 9th man. This game is a game that really suits him because his main trait is he's a really good on-ball defender. I think that, yes, his help defense is good too. Like he came over and he clamped the guy from behind with the blind double team and then snatched the ball away and got the Raptors out in transition the first half. That was great. But mostly he's really good on as an on-ball defender. Really disruptive. We saw that at Summer League. He had a game where he had 7 steals, right? And this is something he takes a lot of pride in. This is something that Darker really recognizes. Well, this game against the Sixers mostly are attacking from the perimeter, right? Maxey, he took some time on Maxey. VJ has some time with VJ. Grimes, even McCain, who last year was electric. He has yet to really get going yet this season, but he came off a big injury. Like, you need perimeter defense. And so I like that Jakobi Walter got into this game early, and he just continued to sort of run with it. You think back to, again, 10 games ago. Well, not, what was it? No, it was not 10 games ago. Maybe it was like 7 games ago when the Raptors were back in Philadelphia earlier for the loss. You remember that one? They started Ochai Agbaji, right? Because they didn't have Jakob Poeltl. He was resting the second half of back-to-back. Raptors are coming in off a nice win in Atlanta. in the NBA Cup game, beating the Hawks for the second time. Hawks been red hot, by the way, so those 2 wins against the Hawks, pretty impressive. Second half of back-to-back, they decide not to, extend Jakob too much in that one, and then they decided to start Ochai Agbaji in that game. Ochai's job was to go around and chase Maxey. Obviously didn't do anything, and basically Ochai got benched for like most of the rest of the game. He might have played like 10 minutes. Jakobi gets the first shot in this one. He gets one of the first subs to come in the game. Thought he did a great job. I mean, again, like it always helps when he knocks down the open shots from the perimeter. We know he's been really cold on those, and so him hitting 3 of 4 is huge. But I just thought his aggressiveness on the ball was good. His aggressiveness off the ball was good. And I just thought that in the 14 minutes that Jakobi played, not only was it a +8 for the team, but it was just, he packed a lot into it. Like he didn't rush too much. He didn't force it too much. Actually, the one shot he missed was a 3. He kind of forced that one a little bit in transition. And, I think that's for me, it's just like, I similar to how Grady started the season, a little cold. And it felt like Grady was really pressing, really pressing. It was like, okay, I got to hit the shot because otherwise I'll come out the game. You still got to let the game come to you. Like realistically, neither of these 2 guys are guys that are like so good offensively that you got to you could just create at will. You know what I mean? These guys are both guys to be setting up or be set up by the team. But when they played within the flow of it, I think that both of these guys did a great job. But I mean, Jakobi certainly had his best stretch of the season. He also added in a little driving bank shot. I mean, he's always got these little awkward in-between shots. If you go back and watch his Baylor highlights, it's basically like 153s and then just a bunch of like weird angling, fading, hard, weird pivot drives. So he's got a little bit of that footwork down, but I was really happy for him, man, because I think his defense was really needed in this one, and he essentially just snatched Ochai's minutes, and deservedly so in this game. Grady Dick. So Grady had a decent game. Obviously, when you look at the paper, it's like 4 points. Okay, what's so decent about that? Some of the passing from Grady Dick tonight was very innovative, was very spontaneous. Like he had to really create kind of and improvise. I think that's the best word for it is, he found himself in a lot of strange situations where, again, he needed to sort of throw like 360 cross-court passes, which he did a good job of, like didn't even turn the ball over. But probably one of the prettiest plays of the game was Scotty, dribbling into a dribble handoff for Grady. Grady taking one dribble towards the top of the floor, trying to see if he can get an angle there. 2 guys go to Grady, and Grady sort of jumps midair, fakes up, and then ultimately throws low while he's midair to get the bounce pass to Scotty Barnes in the post, who draws the rotation to him, and then Scotty rotates it back to Jakob Poeltl for a dunk. Like, that was great. And another great interior passing sequence from Scotty and Jakob. Basically Yakin's skills, but this time with Scotty, an even better passer than Pascal. But all of that was really initiated by Grady Dick drawing 2 and then being able to get out of that, and I think the Raptors did a great job of, being able to sort of use what Grady Dick does and leverage sort of his athleticism, in this one. He also got a steal and, basically anticipated a pass. Raptors, I think, had double teamed a lot, especially in the first quarter. They were really double teaming Maxey off high screens. They actually kind of took the Sixers out of the pick and roll game for a while just because Raptors were blitzing Maxey so much. They were like, okay, maybe we just won't run pick and rolls for Maxey. And they were starting to do the no ball screens thing that I think the Heat kind of do a lot of. And honestly, Maxey with space, Maxey with a couple steps of momentum going towards the basket is like absolutely killer, playing off the catch. But when they were double teaming, obviously when you double team like that, you're going to have to rotate, right? Because you have 2 to the ball, then guys got to help. Everyone's got to rotate. And Grady made a great play where he anticipated where the ball was going to be reversed to against the double team, against the rotations, was able to get the steal and go out in transition and finish. So that was good. Sandro came in, did a good job as well. I mean, Sandro, a very, very slick play where, I think he had 3 straight drives where he got to the basket. A lot of that was against the roll. Again, the Sixers were really aggressive on the perimeter at times. And that really allows the bigs to sort of slip back door and be free. Like, I mean, Jakob was a huge option, and this one Mamu was as well. But Mamu on the roll, going to the basket. First off, the Sixers weren't getting called for anything at the basket. Like, literally, the Raptors could not get a single call at the rim. Scotty Barnes got to be super frustrated considering the second game in a row, he goes to the basket nonstop and literally gets 0 free throws. Like last game against the Hornets, 0 free throws. This game against the Sixers, 0 free throws. And it's not like Scotty's out there chucking threes. He only took 2 threes. You know what I mean? Like Scotty was going to the hoop, never getting no calls, right? Literally 2 games in a row now, criminal. But it was kind of like across the board. Nobody on the Raptors are getting calls at the foul line. The only guys getting fouls were like RJ, who was literally getting hacked, and then Brandon Ingram, who was getting, you just kind of cooking his man one-on-one. Guys have to get too aggressive. Hit him on a 3, hit him on a turnaround jumper. But Mamu rolling hard to the basket, and I think it was Jabari Walker for the other team tried to take a charge underneath, but it was late. And Mamu sort of like went on strong and finished. And obviously, you know, guys sit underneath you. It's a bit of a hard fall, but he goes up and he finishes the play. Then he had another play where he like cut to the basket and he finished. And then he had another one where he got it was like 2 man on the ball. The ball came to Mamu in the middle of the floor. Mamu does a Euro step around the help defender and then draws another one, and then he kicks it into the corner to Jakobi, who knocks down the 3. Like, just beautiful basketball from Mamu. So I think, I mean, again, like what I'm describing is that like a lot of guys contributed, and that's the beauty of the Raptors right now. Like, they're playing beautiful basketball. Another game with 33 assists. The Raptors, last I checked, was 3rd in assists. You know, like we're right there in terms of just like how we're performing, especially moving the ball. Obviously, that's a huge part of what Darko likes to do, is sort of have his team play unselfish and move it around. And yeah, man, I mean, just a really good game. And again, like, you know, with every game, you're always going to look at, okay, against the Sixers, how are you going to contain Tyrese Maxey? Well, here's the stat that I really like because I think Maxey, by the way, I think he might have had like 11 in the first quarter alone. But Maxey finished with 24 points. Super efficient, as you would expect. 8 of 14 from the field, went 5 of 9 from 3, 3 of 4 from the foul line, and he also had 9 assists. So, you know what I mean? Like, he was super effective. Like I said, the last time the Raptors played the Sixers, like, I think Maxey is like, you know, he's right there with like the Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, even Cade Cunningham. I mean, these are all very different players, but like, he's in that upper echelon of guards in the Eastern Conference. But even with all that said, my favorite thing about tonight is Maxey played his standard 39 minutes, only took 14 shots, and 9 of them were threes. The Raptors did a really good job cutting him off. And yes, in the first quarter, he was getting free. It was looking like a problem. You know, again, like, he's basically seen every defense at this point, and so, you know, you're not going to catch them by surprise. But to limit him even to 14 shot attempts, I think was huge. And it's an effort by the whole entire team. But I want to give credit to obviously Jamal, who did a lot of time guarding him. Jakobi did a lot of time guarding him. But also with Immanuel Quickley, because at the start of this game, you know, they trusted Quick to do the job. And of course, they gave him a lot of help. You know, again, they doubled a lot. Sometimes they switched. You know, I thought Brandon got out there once in a while. You know, Scotty was eager to get out there. You know, like Jakob obviously very dutiful with the help. Usually it was him bringing the help over. But like, they did a good job. And if you told me coming into this game that, okay, there's no Embiid, there's no, you know, well, I don't even know. Like, basically, there's no Embiid, and Maxey's going to give you only 24 points, I'll take that any day of the week. Yes, Maxey made some great passes. Yes, the Sixers still were able to be super aggressive around him. This is one of the best guards in the NBA, period. Right? He's like second in the NBA in scoring. Like, you hold him to 24, that's a great job. So I like, again, too, like the adjustment from game to game. It's nice that the Raptors played them 2 weeks ago. They got to sort of like do a couple different things. But also, I think this was basically also another big factor in this was, you know, I remember I was down at practice yesterday talking to the team, and I asked RJ about, you know, what we got to do to beat the Sixers. And RJ said also, I don't know, man, we just got to not be on a back-to-back. And he kind of joked about it. He also gave other points, but that was the first thing that came to mind was, yo, last game was a back-to-back. And this one, I mean, you know, the Sixers also don't have Embiid and Oubre, whatever you want to say. But ultimately, the Raptors played and they were in control for the entire second half. And that's what you want to see, is that dominance and this ability of a better team, because the Raptors are a better team. And we got to sort of grow accustomed to sort of being that right now. Being the better team and taking care of business. Because when you look at the schedule, Washington coming up next, Brooklyn coming up next, the big thing is just keep playing. Just keep playing the way you're supposed to play, because you have a winning formula right now for the first time in a long time, and you're gonna beat these teams, and it's truly a luxury we have not seen here in Toronto in a while. So we're gonna take a quick break. Want to hear from you guys once again. I appreciate all of you guys for being in the chat, but first, let's get a quick message from our sponsor.
This segment is presented by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table. It's at a great location right across the street from Scotiabank Arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Will, what are we having at Table Fair and Social?
Well, they got one of our favorites in the city, Alouette.
Ooh.
And you, of course, you know Alouette. Incredible food.
The wedge salad?
The wedge salad, exactly. Imagine you're about to watch a Raptors game, you're about to watch a Leafs game, you're about to catch a concert at Scotiabank, and beforehand, we get together, get a couple of drinks at Alouette, get that salad. We're ready for anything, man.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of options at Table Fair and Social. This is your go-to spot. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fair and Social, a downtown food hall right across from the arena for some great pregame bites and drinks.
Okay, welcome back to the program. First off, a huge thank you to people who actually sent in money through the super chat. I appreciate it. For example, Jimbo sends in, I'm a bet Masai is smiling watching this healthy version of the Raptors and seeing his final vision come to reality. Bobby got big shoes to fill. Listen, we love Masai on this show. Go back to when Masai was let go. Like I was pretty upset. I didn't see that as a necessary move. Felt like a cost-cutting move. Still does, to be honest. But like, we gotta put a little respect on Bobby's name, man. We have to put a little bit of respect on Bobby's name, okay? Like, yes, Masai and Bobby work closely together. Yes, Bobby was Masai's number 2, and again, like they worked as a tandem, right? Like a lot of front office do in the league, but Bobby does a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes, man. Okay, when you imagine the president of a company, I don't know if you work in a corporate environment. I'm telling you, the president doesn't work as hard as the second guy. I'll just tell you that much. You know what I mean? And that's nothing against Masai. Masai got to figure out a lot of different things. And obviously, he's got the biggest thing, which is to say yes or no to some of the biggest things. But Bobby orchestrated a lot of this, man. And I want him to get his credit, too. And some of the smaller moves, like, they're not sexy. They're not huge. They're not, like, earth-shattering. But, you do hear what Zach Lowe just said on, the number 2 sports podcast in basketball sports podcast in Canada. He talked about how, Sandro Mamukelashvili looking like the best value signing in the NBA in terms of free agency. Colin Murray Boyles. You know what I mean? Like, we've all really enjoyed what CMB did. He was unable to play today. He had, I don't even know what he had, to be honest, but he just wasn't in the game. But CMB, he's had some really promising moments. That's a Bobby pick. And the Brandon thing, I think it's a very Bobby-esque move. It's very prudent. The thing is, like, it's all about, getting the players at the right time and the right price, and again, the price was right, man. Like you're talking about it's Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and at that time that Indiana pick was going to be in the 20s. You do that trade to bring in an all-star player in his prime into your roster who wants to sign here and extend here and below the max. Like, we got to give credit around. You know what I mean? Yes, I love Masai as much as everybody, but like, we got to give Bobby some of that credit too. That's all. Alex Newen sends another $5 in. I appreciate you. Raptors number 2 seed. 1,100 in the chat. Let's go. Yeah, it's been great, man. It's been great seeing these numbers. Definitely appreciate you guys for being here and watching it. Again, like, we've always said this, man. Like, we could bring on whatever guests we want. We can be as funny as we want to. We can be as insightful as we want to. We can give hot takes, which we really try to avoid on this show. We're not really hot take kind of guys. Like, we could do whatever we want, man. The biggest thing is the Raptors got to win, and that's why I always felt so grateful to Masai for building great teams in the past. I mean, I know my career wouldn't have launched and sustained if it wasn't for the Raptors being good. That mattered more than anything else, and yeah, this is great, man. And yeah, Raptors, are we in the number 2 seed officially now? I mean, it's a little early to check the standings, but let me look at those standings. Oh, Cleveland lost today? Oh, sick. Yo, Cleveland lost to the Heat again? Oh, no, they lost to Houston. That's Houston, my bad. Yeah, the Raptors. Oh, this is beautiful. Let's have everyone look at this, man. Let's look at this Eastern Conference. Actually, let's just look at the playoff picture, because I'm going to cut off the bottom of the East. The bottom of the East is disgraceful this season, unfortunately. Sorry, Pascal, but you had your time in the sun. You got to take it on the chin again with the Pacers this year, but let's check the standings. Woo! Obviously, the Pistons, just straight up unbeatable. They've won 11 in a row. Are number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Who could have predicted that, being at 13-2? This is, by the way, with Cade missing a couple games, but Jalen Duren's been cooking. Even Javonte Green, who they picked up off the scrap heap, he's been cooking for them. Denise Jenkins. I don't even know how to say his name. Might be a Lindsey Hunter All-Star, to be honest. But 13-2. And then, the Raptors right there, man, 10-5. Second in the conference. Cleveland, who the Raptors have beaten twice, 10-6. New York Knicks, 8-5. Hawks, 9-6, who the Raptors have beaten twice. Miami, 9-6. I look forward to seeing how the Raptors match up with them. And then Philadelphia, Chicago, Boston, Orlando. Milwaukee's not even in the play-in picture. Nasty stuff. So, yeah, man, this is great. And of course, again, the more the Raptors win, the more people tune in. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated sometimes. Simon also sent in $5. It's so refreshing having a team that's fun to watch again. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've seen successful Raptors teams of varying degrees. I think I've seen successful iso ball. I've seen successful team basketball. I gotta say, all things being equal, it is really fun watching a team basketball type of context, like the way the Raptors want to play in terms of the ball movement. Again, the Raptors having 33 assists. That's not even notable anymore. The Raptors, the last season before, Nick, got let go and Darko came in, Raptors were terrible at moving the ball, man. The iso ball, pick and roll, conservative. Let's try to avoid turnovers. Let's keep the ball in the best player's hands and just have them shoot over and over again. It just wasn't particularly inventive, and it felt really backwards. And honestly, wasn't just Nick. It was Dwayne Casey kind of played like that too. They certainly was a lot of Lou Williams dribble out 16 seconds and then shoot a pull-up three and hope they get fouled. Or DeMar ISO and Kyle pick and roll. You know what I mean? It just was pretty standard stuff. And yes, Darko has come in, and the last 2 seasons, the Raptors have not been efficient, literally 26th and 25th, I think, offensive rating wise. But they started laying down the groundwork in terms of right away, we're going to play this system where, we're going to move it around. We're going to be amongst the league leaders in passes per game and assists per game. And eventually we'll have guys who can learn the system and play better in it, but also will upgrade the talent so guys can actually make shots. And that's what we're seeing this season is Raptors making shots, Raptors playing well. And, I also appreciate that in an era of let's just race and get 53s up and let's try to hit 20 or 50. And basically we're unbeatable if we hit 23s, right? But we're going to try to jack threes and play the math game. Raptors, I appreciate this. We're not really a math game kind of team. Yes, the Raptors have been efficient with the 3-point shot. They've been among the league leaders in 3-point percentage all season. But we're not really looking to just jack them up, man. If anything, we're actually pretty low in terms of how many threes we attempt. Part of that is because of the talent we have. Obviously, Scotty and Ingram both like to work in the mid-range, and Jakob's exclusive in the paint, and RJ's kind of a little cold from 3, although he won 2 of 5 from 3. That's I'll take 2 of 5 from 3 from RJ every single day, every single game. But we're not one of these teams that just want to jack up the threes. You know what I mean? We're not trying to race on the floor and just throw the threes up. No. We play team basketball, and we'll play, and we'll do interior passing. That shit is almost gone from the game nowadays, man. Nobody does interior passing because there's not 2 people. You need 2 people in the interior to do that. That little tic-tac-toe stuff. And that used to be so common in the league because it used to be basically all double big lineups everywhere. And you remember some of the the memorable sort of 2 big combinations. They all were guys who were able to sort of play high-low to each other and cut and move. And the Raptors actually have a little bit of that. They keep a little bit of that alive with Scotty and Jakob. So, yeah, it's just the Raptors run an efficient offense because they're efficient for every spot on the floor, which is nice because a lot of teams are really efficient because they only give the ball to their best player and let them handle the ball 90% of the time. And, that James Harden-style offense certainly was efficient, right? And we also have teams that are efficient because they jack every 3 possible, like the Boston Celtics. Raptors are different from both of those. Raptors are okay, we're gonna play team basketball and trust each other, and out of that trust and cutting a movement and timing is productive scoring. And you can't say that's a hot streak anymore because the Raptors are 15 games into the season and we're a top 10 offensive team. That's huge. And of course, a big credit to Brandon Ingram too, man. I mean, again. Thinking about Brandon too, there was a decent amount of doubt in terms of, Brandon, what's he going to do? Is he's going to fit into this team? And my hope was always, I hope he fits into the team. Like, I don't want him to, he's not a guy you just give the ball to every time and clear out. But I also hope that, like, the Raptors adapt to Brandon too, because, like, as much as all that passing stuff is nice, sometimes it's also nice to have a clinical finisher. And Brandon has been that, and especially in crunch time, and that's such a comforting feeling. Another $2 here from Percolator Fish. Jakob can be an X factor for this team in the long run. Yeah, exactly. I do think that, like, okay, I see this because, like, I guess this is just how basketball culture is especially consumed now, especially online, is so much discussion and so much of, like, who's going to be the next guy. And, there's so much, like, obsessing over, like, which guy's going to be the next great player out of the draft, and, being fake GMs and, doing mock trades. And I mean, certainly I trust me, like, I've basically come up in this whole internet era of basketball, discourse. So, like, I understand, like, this is, like, what people want. It's like, like, if I came in tomorrow, I'd be like, 5 fake trades Raptors going to make. Like, people will click that and people will watch that. And, like, there's certainly a time and place for that. There's no doubt. But, I mean, first off, no one's really making trades right now. Like, a lot of the league is, players are ineligible to be traded because they just got signed in the offseason or whatever. But also, like, sometimes you got to sit and enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like, we were, like, pushing guys out the door right away. It was like, oh, man, IQ's bad, push him out the door. Jakob's bad and injured, push him out the door. But terrible front office for extending these guys and, signing them. You don't hear that as much. And then you're like, RJ goes cold for a little bit. Even though Raptors are winning, people are like, oh, we got to trade RJ now. And then Jakob, oh, he sucks. Like, oh, the drafting, what if we drafted this guy instead of this guy? It's like, yes, okay, yeah. Honestly, you can do that until you're blue in the face. But, like, I thought that was fun to do when the Raptors are bad and there's nothing good to talk about. Like, right now we have something great. Raptors are 9-1. I don't really want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to spoil that with, like, let's trade this guy for this guy. I also think that there's something to be said about patience, man. These guys aren't absolutely, like, they're not robots. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, like, guys are going to go through ups and downs. I think for Jakob, it's been difficult. Last year, towards the end of the season, he got really used to playing, like, 25, 30 minutes a game, playing with starters. And yes, they were losing a lot of those games, but I thought he was building his confidence steadily. And I saw a good player there. And then in Summer League, we saw, like, an even better version of that. And then, of course, the rhythm got disrupted and, he didn't start the season great. Even in training camp, like, he was, like, training with the third unit sometimes. It's like, okay, that's going to be a little different. Obviously, the Raptors are trying to win now, so you can't live through as many mistakes as you did last year when you're trying to tank. And young guys got to go out there and do whatever, develop, quote unquote. But you gotta have patience, man. Like, I think, like, there is a good player in there, and, like, what he did today, none of that wasn't like, oh man, he hit 4 buzzer beaters. That's not gonna happen again. Like, he can do this. You know what I mean? I think he needs to find the rhythm and confidence. I think the same thing what Grady went through earlier this season. I think Grady kind of figured it out, and now, like, I'm not really complaining about how Grady's playing, and I don't think people are too upset about it. Like, they're not posting eye-popping stats. They're not gonna do that, man. These guys are gonna play 15 minutes per game off the bench. How many points can you really score in 15 minutes? You know what I mean? Especially when you're not even having the ball. These guys are off-ball players. But I think they got to find a way to contribute to the winning. And, yeah, and you got to give people time, man. Like, we gave Jakob time. Jakob came back, and now Jakob's playing fantastic, So, yeah, believe in the players, man. Not to sound like Masai, but, believe in the players a little bit, This is really fun. This is real fun. Yeah, this is the thing. We finally got to the second seed, and people still want to make trades. Shake my head. I can understand getting a backup big. No, I mean, I'm not saying you can't, like, try to make a trade. Like, I think that, like, the Raptors are going to do what they're always going to do. They're going to be really prudent, and they're going to see, okay, if there's a good value, a good opportunity, we're going to go for it. Like last year, for example, I think a lot of people were really confused when the Brandon Ingram rumors, cropped up. So the Raptors wanted Brandon Ingram. I think that was first reported by Mark Stein and Jeff Fisher. And there was a lot of pushback. And then even when the trade happened, there was a lot of pushback at that time, not only in terms of fans, but also in terms of, like, major outlets. Shouts to friend of the program, Josh Lewenberg. But this guy was going up and down TSN being like, what are the Raptors doing? Is the tank over? Like, it was confusing in a sense, but because it seemed like it was pivoting away from that. But, like, what the Raptors did in that opportunity was, okay, we see that the price is right to make this, and we'll do it. You know what I mean? And, I remember this because I think probably the first time I interviewed Bobby one-on-one was like 2022. And so it was like after the trade deadline, and, I got to sit with Bobby for like 25 minutes. It was actually like, he was very generous because it was supposed to be 15 minutes, but, he was having a good time. So we got to extend. And around that time, I was asking him like, okay, why did you trade for Thad Young? Like, what was the idea that like, okay, you guys about to make a playoff run, you need to add an extra body? And he kind of thought about it. And he's like, I could see sort of why you think that in sense of like this maybe how fantasy trades work, or maybe this is just like quote unquote common logic. But I think for a lot of these guys, like the front offices are rarely that reactive. Like they mostly try to plan trades that are like for like a 2-3 year outlook at least, and even if you're trading for a guy seemingly to get him in to do to add to your current immediate needs, it's not to say they never address immediate needs. That would also not be prudent. But I also think that like part of the reasoning for signing Thad Young was like, okay, we can extend him for this thing, we can add a non-guaranteed, and then we could use that as a tradable contract, which they eventually did to get Jakob Poeltl in. Like there's a lot of things that sort of go into it, you know what I mean? So yeah, like it always is fun being a GM, but to be honest, right now, like I don't know. It's not to say you can never try to improve the team, and you can't really complain when they're winning, because they're not a perfect team. And I would like to see the Raptors always make the right plays for value. And there will certainly be a lot of teams looking to trade with, Charlotte looking pretty bad after a nice start. Memphis, Dallas, Sacramento. New Orleans, like there's Washington, if there's anything good there, which there isn't. Brooklyn, same thing. But there will be teams looking to trade. But again, like just make the right value move and be really logical about it. And I think, yeah, if I were to describe Bobby's approach, I think that actually is it. So, and yeah, backup big, yeah, sure, why not? You know what I mean? Like we see the impact that Jakob has in this team. I'm not expecting Jakob to play 82 games. You know what I mean? So, yeah. A little bit of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which I do kind of agree with as well. IQ got the chain. Okay, all right. Let's pop that chain in there. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, IQ gets the chain there. I don't know who's that behind him. What is behind him there? Hold on. What is hanging behind him? By the way, the Sixers locker room got to be one of the Sixers visiting the locker room got to be one of the shittiest in the league. I haven't seen all the NBA teams in terms of like being in all their situations. I've been to probably like half at this point. Certainly there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. The Sixers visiting the locker room sucks. It's so cramped. Okay, it's like you have no space. Oh, this is actually an updated version. You know what? They actually did some renovations, because last year I remember being in this thing. It was like they think they repainted the walls or something. It was real decrepit. But yeah, shouts to the team for taking a team photo after every game. I'm kind of enjoying this. Although What's Jacoby wearing, yo? What's Jacoby doing? Yeah, for people listening to the podcast, Jacoby's just got like a white undershirt and I guess white leggings as well. So the man's just in all white, like Mr. Clean. Grady's, by the way, Grady keeps showing off the muscles, man. Grady, I see you, buddy. Okay, we can see Grady in the corner there. He's flexing his little traps. He's flexing his little biceps or whatever. Yeah, we see you, Grady. You get a little stronger. We know that. We can see that, Grady. Yeah, I'm happy for the team, man. The vibes of this team are great right now, man. Seriously, this team really gets along. They really gel. They're always going out for team dinners. Like, these are all really, really good signs. So,
I do want to add.
What's up, Jerome?
What's up, man? All right, so going back to IQ's photo here, I think we really just need to zoom in some proud dad uncle in the back behind the bicep.
Dan Tolman. Or Dan Tolzman, sorry.
Dan Tolzman.
Dan Tolman.
What's his stat? Like, he's like de facto GM, unofficial GM, or what is he?
He's still assistant GM.
Assistant GM.
Bobby's still GM, yeah.
Right. Yes, of course.
But he kind of looks like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems right now. He kind of looks like that. This is how I win.
Yes.
GIF. Yes. Yeah, which I think is permanently tattooed to Alex's brain. But
yeah, but perfectly framed right there between IQ's call and shoulder there.
Yo, this is a great observation, man. I would have never.
Yeah, well, when you were asking what's that in the background, I thought you were talking about our boy DT.
No. If you look at the photo, what's this hanging behind him?
It looks
is that
like
a
it's
guy
just
on
like
a ladder
hoodie
or something?
No, it's just like a hoodie or some. It's either a shadow, but I think it's not a shadow, or it's just like a hoodie or something hanging above. Like, that's a stall. Like, if you can see, that's IQ's stall right there.
Yeah, but that's like on the ceiling almost.
No. Like, if you think of it like coming out, it's like. If you think about a stall and the way it comes on the side, there's probably just something hanging on top of it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think that's what we're looking at. But that's, I mean, really the most important part is this in the background right here.
Hey, Shout out
Super
to Dan
proud.
Tolzman, man.
Super proud
Shouts
of
to
his
Dan
work over
Tolzman.
there. He's just like, yeah, I was part of that trade.
I mean, he's for people who don't know, Tolzman is has led most of the Raptors draft efforts. So when you think about the Raptors being great at drafting, a lot of that is credit to Dan Tolzman and his team. Obviously, everyone gets their opinion on the draft. The Raptors are a team that, as Bobby told us in our live show, their approach to the draft is everyone's got to go see them, so they see them as a group. But yeah, shouts to Tolzman, man. He does a great job, and
Dan,
I don't
father
know.
there. That's right, Liban.
Hey, he should be, man.
Yeah.
He should be. He should be, especially after all the propaganda. He sold us on Jakob.
Yeah.
So. Just
okay.
kidding.
So like going back to
kidding.
this team photo here, isn't this very like soccer? Because like a lot of soccer, or I feel like I know Toronto FC would do it all the time, like the group photo in there. Like, does that happen in Premier League at all, where they like all take a group photo like that, or?
I think you may be thinking of the squad photo that they take before like Champions League matches.
No, I know there's like the on the pitch one, but
where
like
they have like a little banner and they hold it up for
of
the
course,
starting
of course.
11.
No, those yes, absolutely. No, but okay, maybe it was just a thing that I remember when sometimes Toronto FC would get like wins, they just like take the group photo inside there, just really happy with the vibes. But yeah, look at them.
I don't mind these though. This is kind of cool. Like I always enjoy it. I also love how Jamal's always in the middle. Like he just always
there.
finds himself in the middle
Yeah.
of everything. Can we pull up the photo of for after last game, Brandon Ingram putting Jamal Shed in a headlock, please?
Okay, I'm gonna go find that for you. You keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Okay, yeah. So, vibes are really high. Everyone loves some winning, man. This is like some 2017, 2018 vibes. Yeah, I mean, you got a little bench mob. The starter's looking pretty strong. The team again really likes and really loves each other. I also think that like sometimes like you spend enough time working on this together. Like, oh, here we go. Yeah, just zoom into the actual interaction, please. Zoom into just Jamal in the headlock with Brandon Ingram. Yeah, this was this was. I think the one thing with Brandon is, it's funny because when we think back to the last time the Raptors were in Philadelphia, Brandon goes like super viral for that water bottle slam, and he's apologized so much for it, but it was off camera, so people didn't see that. Yeah, there we go. This is the
pure
usual
sleeper
Brandon
hold
Ingram.
right here, right there. The last time I saw a point guard attack like this by Brandon Ingram, it was Chris Paul.
Oh, hey, one day we gotta watch the footage of that. Man.
Oh, that's
We
it.
gotta watch-
Yeah, we know you put it on the show numerous times already.
Did
like
I?
this season,
Did I?
we've seen it. You've gone over the tape. Yeah,
Okay, but yeah.
but we can revisit it in official capacity with Alex on a past live segment if we need to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
This is no, but this is like what Ingram like typically is. Like a little goofy. He gets along with people really well. Like he's real chill. You know what I mean?
So when we were in Calgary, we were prepping for the possibility that we might have some time with BI, and you and I were reviewing so many videos from like his earlier years, like basically before he was not being extended by New Orleans and was like suddenly like very somber, very against the franchise, clearly wanted out. And this is just like one of the like most happy-go-lucky, jovial teammates and people around, and like it really feels like he's gotten his spark back this season.
No, I think he's found his joy a little bit, and I think last year, like obviously it wasn't just because like of the injury, but basically he wanted a contract extension, and the team that he spent a lot of time with, he put a lot of effort into, like basically just said no, like we're not going to extend you, and so that was also going to be a difficult thing. I think the other difficult thing is, and I don't know what to say, but the Pelicans just don't have fans anymore.
Yeah,
Like-
you made a joke on you made a tweet about it that about playing in front of 26 fans or something. Yeah.
So somebody posted this is from a courtside photo. Somebody was posting, and of course Shea's at the free throw line, but it's literally OKC. So maybe you're not here to see like the Pelicans, but maybe you want to see the reigning champions.
Sure.
This is if people can like look closely at the upper bowl, there's like sections where there's like 3 people in there. I'm not even trying to exaggerate.
Yeah.
But there's
yeah.
like sections where there's like 3 people in there, man.
Yeah, we have the photo up right now for the people that are listening to the pod of just like looking at how it is right
like
now.
the lower bowl's not full either. Like there's like literally the prime sections. Like we're talking about the middle of the floor, lower bowl is like maybe half full, and then the upper bowl is just like it's crazy. Like this is like I feel bad. Like it wasn't even that long ago when they had a really good team. Like you had Zion, Ingram, McCollum. JV was on that team.
Also, New
Larry
Orleans as a
Nance,
city in the
Herb,
U.S., you would think, like, as someone who like lives outside,
Trey
like New Orleans
Murphy.
feels like a
Yeah.
place that you'd want to visit. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's but I think that's like definitely a result of the ownership. Like, they also own the Saints, and the Saints are usually like the main focus. Like, they just don't put any money into this team.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, because I think Brandon got a little bit of trouble for this because he said it, I think, at Media Day here in Toronto. He was
Sure.
like, obviously he was here with the team. He just didn't play towards the end of last season. And he was like, one of the things is like, I was so impressed with Raptor fans because like, even though we were losing, so much, like the stands were full every night and there was still energy.
Absolutely.
And I was like, and then people kind of interpreted as, oh, is that a shot against New Orleans? I'm like, dog, you just got to look at the picture, man.
You just got to look at the picture. And it's also like really astounding
nobody
because
there.
when you think about like from us on the inside and Toronto fans and like how our crowds have looked or felt over the last couple of seasons when we weren't a winning team, if that was like the thing that impressed Brandon Ingram, like that just speaks to how bad it was in New Orleans. Because for us, this was probably a low point for Toronto Raptors
It was a
fans.
low point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm happy we freed Brandon.
We freed
anything
Brandon.
else.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a couple more questions in before we wrap up here. Brian Liang sends us $4.99. Will Scotty Barnes make All NBA or All Star team if he continues to be unselfish? Yes, I think he will. All NBA is gonna be difficult just because again, like you got to be top 6 at your position. There's only 3 teams, only 6, total forward slots, so it's difficult, right? Like you're always gonna be up against it, but I think if the Raptors, I mean, at this rate, it's not even crazy to think if the Raptors can, especially if they maintain this type of like winning rate, like
Yes.
the Raptors would be a 50-win team. They were one of the big stories of the NBA. Like, whoa, how did the Raptors make this leap from where they were last year to where they are this year? Everyone's going to look at the team and they're like, okay, obviously the addition of Brandon Ingram was huge and, development of some younger guys and Darko did a great job coaching them. But I think people universally understand that like the most important and the best player in the Raptors is still Scotty Barnes. Like offensively, Ingram is definitely better in terms of the scoring. Look,
Scotty just does more all around.
yeah, the Sixers threw a double team at Brandon Ingram every time they let Scotty play 1-on-1. You know what I mean? Like, but overall, the impact on the team, like Scotty has a way higher impact. And yeah, I think again, people reward winning, especially nowadays. Like, if people really, really reward winning. So I think that Scotty probably still needs to keep it. Like, ideally, if you can get above 20 points per game, which right now he's not over 20. But also, this discourse around Scotty has bothered me for a couple years because like I don't know what to say. Like, Scotty's just not one of these guys you force feed touches to. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, we got to throw Pascal at the bus because he's taking touches away from Scotty. And now it's like, I see it a little bit. Oh, we got to take RJ. We got to throw RJ out the bus because he takes touches away from Scotty. And if Ingram starts struggling, they'll be like, well, they got to throw Ingram out the bus to force touches to Scotty. We've already seen what Scotty looks like when he can shoot the ball every single time all of last season. Guy still didn't even average 20. It's not in his nature. Like, it's just not him. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also, I think it actually is showing from how the season has been going so far is you need that level of scoring talent around Scotty for Scotty to be this good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, all NBA's positionless now? Oh, okay, but even a better chance, though. There you go.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think at that point, we're basically looking at, like, it is Scotty's numbers, but it is just like Raptors winning. If the Raptors have a good enough record going into the All-Star break, Scotty's in. Like, like that's just one of those things where maybe he doesn't get the votes in, although I feel like Raptors fans, obviously it's really early, but we are approaching Christmas, and that's usually around the time when All-Star voting starts. Raptors fans, get in there, get him in the All-Star game. And then on top of that, it's just one of those things where if the team is performing well enough, like, for sure coaches will vote him in.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Scotty is definitely like coaches will recognize his value. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago Raptor fans were voting DeMar and Kyle to start in All-Star games, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I worked on that campaign, I remember.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wait, which ones did you work on? Hold on. What did they have you do?
So there was 1 year of a campaign where the theme was DeMar and Kyle better together. So I think they wanted them to vote in. And so the idea was they would edit And like this was like the kind of thing like Bleacher Report was doing for a good long time, where they would just replace people's heads in. Like before you started having like AI and like all this stuff that would like, do like full face swaps. Like you would do it in a very crude kind of fun way where you just like kind of motion track and put like someone's head on another like character's body and then move around and all that stuff.
Oh,
so
yes.
the campaign that was going out during that time was we would pick any amount of like shows or movies. So like if it's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's like Jazz and Will, or if it's like I think there was like Rocky and it was like Rocky and Apollo Creed, or it was White Man Can't Jump. Like there was like all these like kind of buddy pairing situations.
Wait, who was the white man in that scenario, Kyle or DeMar?
The joke in that one, so the scene was where Woody Harrelson's character is dunking. So we made that Kyle because obviously it's very simple for DeMar to dunk. So it was like Kyle dunks, and then DeMar gets really excited about it. So that was the idea there. There was Elf at one point where it was like the snowball fight.
Love Elf. Yeah.
Because it was around Christmas and everything. But anyway, I just remember I did all those videos like for that campaign, and then like it was just like a really fun time. That was like one of the first things I worked on for the team.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think they'll push 2 All-Stars this year. It'll be Scotty and Brandon. I don't think both of them playing at that level.
I think they need the record for that to happen. Like that one's going to be a little difficult. They'll
push for 2. I think politically they got to push for 2.
Oh, sorry. As in the team will push for 2 to.
Right.
In terms of getting 2 actually in will be pretty tough.
It would be. But again, if the Raptors are close to the top of the conference, I think Scotty's definitely a guarantee, and Brandon could be in there too.
But
Brandon's gonna have the highlights too.
This is also a situation here where because the team is doing well, like we might get like Jamal Shed in the like rookie sophomore. We might get like certain.
Ooh, yes.
Right. So
That's right.
there's a lot of those things.
Yeah, Jamal
that
definitely got to be in that. Yeah.
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 All right.
Couple more basketball ones. Darko putting Scotty on Maxey late in the game was a key move. Forced the other guys to make tough shots on the last few possessions. Absolutely. I think Scotty actually did a lot of guarding Maxey throughout the game in terms of just switching onto him, but especially down the stretch, yes, absolutely. Because again, Maxey was mostly scoring from deep, and I think they just got better contests up, even if if he chose to shoot over Scotty, which he didn't too much. Sixers also just kicked the ball around too, man. The Raptors' ball pressure really got to them. Sixers had I can't use this ESPN box score anymore, man. They screwed up the columns. Why would you move the columns of the box score? Yeah, the Sixers had 21 turnovers. That was also a huge aspect of this win. Good to see Kyle on TV for 3 seconds. Yeah, one of the things that really bothers me is when they stop showing the play and they just show something else. And I'm like, dude, like there's one play where I think they showed maybe a replay, or they were showing Kyle on the bench or somebody on the bench. But Jack was like literally being like, oh, look at that play. And I'm like, I want to. I can't.
He just cuts away to someone else. Yeah,
You're showing me Kyle on the bench. He's not even doing nothing. He's just there. I'm like, I love Kyle. Show me Kyle anytime you want, but just not during the game action. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So, shouts to Kyle, man.
Honestly, at a certain point, it was really just trying to stop Quentin Grimes apparently in the fourth quarter more.
So. Quentin Grimes was going nuts, but I mean, I guess he's like playing for a contract and stuff. He's like a decent player.
That's got to be your. That's got to be your Gerald Henderson for the night, no?
No, it's
we'll get there. We'll get
there. Yeah, we'll get there. Kevin sends in $7. The Raptors are a lot like the Jays. Everyone's contributing, and those that have a rough day, the rest of the team has been picking up the slack. Oh, you know what, Kevin? I like this a lot, actually. I like this analogy. The Jays went from predicted to be the worst in their own division, to obviously winning that division, and then obviously going all the way to Game 7. And yes, they had a superstar in Vladdy. Yes, they had a pretty expensive roster and a lot of established players, kind of like the Raptors, actually, with pedigree, come from different teams. But more than anything else, it was the power of friendship. That Jays team was the power of friendship. They played together. The locker room, the vibe was incredible. Just like how the Raptors got the chain, the Blue Jays had the home run jacket. They had a head coach that people doubted at certain points in John Schneider, ultimately pulling a lot of buttons to sort of make them, stick together and play through it. And then they got a lot of surprise contributions. They were deep, you know what I mean? Like I don't think a lot of teams had like a 8-9 hitter, kind of like Ernie Clement.
I was going to say Ernie Clement is their Jamal Shed.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
you know what I mean? And Ernie was slapping hits, just like how Jamal's slapping, assists. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, I like this. Let's push this narrative. The 2025 Toronto Raptors or the 2025 Toronto
My
Blue
only
Jays. I like
pushback
this.
on that, I do like that. Everything except, and this is more just a credit to Vladdy, like we do not have a Vladdy level superstar. Yet, maybe, yet. But
yeah, that's true.
But that's
was-
just more. That's nothing on our team. That's just more Vladdy.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I think I was saying during the World Series run that I was like, yeah, Vladdy's the best Toronto athlete I've ever seen in my lifetime, and that of course
Exactly.
obviously includes Kawhi Leonard. So
Exactly.
he was playing at that level. Like that wasn't
Exactly.
me. That wasn't me like lying or anything. So
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do the whole roster. Okay, Bi equals Bo Bichette. I guess Scotty's got to be like the Vladimir Guerrero.
Scotty is our Vladdy.
I think Jakob is our George Springer.
Sure.
Like older, balding, but like
Reliable.
still very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoulder hair probably. I haven't
The shoulder
seen
hair is
George's
crazy.
shoulders.
Yeah. The thing about George Springer is just like he's such a handsome fellow, and then like it does.
What do you say about Jakob, man?
When he removes his hat, it just like no shade whatsoever on like.
Minus
just,
aura.
It's thin up there. It's thin up there.
Yeah.
You know?
CMB is Treya Savage. I
Ooh.
mean, that would be incredible if he got to Treya Savage.
That'd be great if we're there. We get that, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else? IQ would be like Varsho or something. Like started the
IQ
season
Varsho?
slow, but then
Okay.
really came on strong, and then made a big impact.
Okay.
RJ. Who is RJ in this scenario, man? Thing is, I
Barger.
don't think that. Ooh, but Barger was a rookie. Barger came on really strong. But,
Well, to me, I'm just like these are just two really strong dudes. Like they're two
Okay.
power dudes. So I think that's where I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm going in with for that. Yeah.
okay, I'll
Like
roll
you,
with
like
for
you
that.
bring in Barger to like just get hits, and you bring in RJ to drive left.
Garrett Temple is our Max Scherzer.
Sure.
Except he doesn't play, but
He doesn't
does
play.
which is a big difference.
Imagine we get one day some Garrett Temple moment where Darko's trying to bench him. And he's like, no, I'm staying on.
Crazy analogy. I think Mamu is our Kirk.
Graham says RJ is more Springer and Kirk is like Yak. That's
Okay,
our answer, Graham. We'll give him that. We'll give him that.
I'll accept that. I think RJ's got to play at a higher
RJ is
level
Kirk
to beat
is not
George
bad.
Springer.
RJ is
George
Kirk is
Springer
fine
was
too.
incredible.
Yeah.
Who is little? Yo, relax, Lee man. Who's little? Ochai, you're little, buddy. I'm
Jeez.
sorry. Yeah, Jack is Buck. This is great. This is actually, these are great comps. I love this, man.
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah. Kirk is a good Mamu comp.
Okay.
Jack is Buck. Yeah, Jack does give you some Buck vibes for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Who's our Hazel May? Danielle.
I guess so.
Yeah, Danielle / Kayla.
You're actually saying it just like who is their Sportsnet correspondent? Yes, it is Danielle.
That is literally the job.
That is exactly what it is. Yeah, exactly.
Me and Alex are Blair and Barker. You know what? I will take that. Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Grady is Louis Varland. Why? Because Grady plays every game. Yeah. It's not
This is
bad.
fun.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
No,
It's not bad. Honestly,
on the
the
Raptors
key,
is
the key
IKF.
part more than anything is that power of friendship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always more fun to watch teams that like really like each other. Because yes, it's about winning, but like we love a lot of the off court moments, man. Like sports is you know what I mean, like a little TV drama. You know what I mean?
I think
And,
with this team, more than because I think there are like key parts of this team is over that have been here for like the last couple of seasons since Darko has come in that feel like they have all galvanized together, but it was hard for fans to get behind because the wins weren't there. So it feels like we're just catching up to their friendship, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's nice, man. It's been really fun. It's been really fun to watch this. They saying hello and welcomes Game 14. Yeah, because we got the GM on the show. Is that the comp?
I mean, no, we're sixth
Just
inning
the
stretch.
Game 14 boys,
No,
man.
we got to shout out the sixth inning stretch. We got to shout out our actual pod on our network.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
sixth
right.
inning podcast. Come on,
Shessa,
man.
Lindsay, and Witt. Come on now.
Yeah, come on now.
Mad Max is Darko. You know what? Actually, I kind of like that. Both crazy eyes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
both crazy eyes, both like prone to just like random snaps. I'm not mad at that, because
Sure.
like Mad Max is like Darko going like let's fucking go at the end of a game, just like losing his mind. Yeah, I can see
Sure.
that. Yeah, I'll give him
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, these analogies got a little stretched. Hey, man, we try to
Hey.
go for it, okay? We try to go for it.
Hey, when you come up with a concept, we'll reach as far as we can to make it happen.
Hey, they're saying these two kings can't exist. That's why we made this beautiful logo, okay? Hello, welcome, baby. Raptors and
Your
Jay
hat
Show,
is in the
rebranding
back.
2026.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. I could have just put on the hat, but, you know.
There you go. There you go.
All right. This is fun. Raptors win again, which is great. We're going to hand out 3 stars, and we're going to get out of here. 3 stars from tonight's performance. First star, man, a lot of really good options to pick from tonight. But I'm going to go with Brandon Ingram for the first star. 22 points, 5 assists, 7 of 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. Actually had a toe on the line, really a toenail on the line, Kevin Durant style. But 6 of 7 from the field. I really appreciate his playmaking in crunch time as well. And again, the overall efficiency was really great. Your second star we got to Immanuel Quickley. Quickly again, the crunch time scoring was massive, but even just like going back and forth with Maxey. I mean, Maxey blocked him. You know, you could definitely tell there's like a bit of like a real friendly rivalry, but you know, it feels like Maxey really likes going at Quickley, which, you know, it feels like he's trying to bully him a little bit, whatever. But I thought Quickley kind of gave it back to him a little bit too. You know, Quickley's not as in your face about it. Obviously, he's not as good, but you're telling me Quickley gonna have 22 points. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. I thought his disruptiveness was good in this one. Was pretty attentive, executed the game plan well against Maxey. It wasn't like he was just getting beat at the point of attack, which is the most important thing. And then he knocked down the threes in the fourth quarter, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Shouts to Quick. And then your third star, Scotty did a lot in this one, but I'm going to give it to Jakob. Jakob was great. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. The two-man combination with him and Scotty was beautiful tonight. And also just his ability to sort of, again, like take on the bigger assignments and just be a factor. The Raptors getting not really big on the offensive glass in general, but occasionally Jakob came up with some pretty big ones as well. And again, the 8 of 10 shooting from the field is great for Jakob. Always super efficient. Finishing around the hoop. The Gerald Henderson Award, as previously mentioned, will go to Quentin Grimes, who shot his way into 21 points. Just super aggressive, especially in the fourth quarter. Knocking out the threes, really, you know, putting a little bit of fear into your heart, but realistically, the guy you were fearing was Tyrese Maxey, and Maxey was, you know, conspicuously absent in the fourth quarter. So that's it. Another great win. Raptors will play again on Friday. They're finally back home for a while, so we get to go see them. If you get a chance to go to the Raptor game, go watch them, man. They're pretty fun right now. They're definitely pretty fun right now. 9-1 in the last 10, 10-5 on the season. Number 2 in the standings already in the Eastern Conference. And with a pretty soft schedule for the rest of November. So, you know, there's a real chance to sort of add to this. But more than anything else, one game at a time, keep winning, keep coming back to the, you know, post-game React pods. We'll obviously be here going live. We won't have a pod tomorrow on Thursday, but what we will have will be a NBA banter Fridays. You know, we always got to kick our feet up on Fridays, really sort of kick back and enjoy and look at the rest of the league, but also I think it's kind of inevitable, man. I'm seeing Alex tweet about the Raptors. I'm seeing Jerome on the React pods. You know what I mean? Nature is healing, baby. Nature is healing. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for being here and sending money in the chat. Just please hit the like on the way out. And if you've been listening on the podcast side, I mean, just you know, once in a while we do enjoy some like reviews. You know, so if you haven't written a review before, it's real simple, especially on the Apple platform. You literally just pull out your podcast app, you go to the show. You hit the 5 stars and you just write a nice little message like, you know what, Will and Alex are my bapus and we listen to them after every game. There you go. So thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you later this week. Appreciate you guys.